Holy shit, boys and girls! Boy, this has been fun trying to get us all together. But here's some of us. This will be the first meeting of the League of Extraordinary Creators. We got Kenny Aiken and Keith Mirage. We got a couple guys. Matt Martin and Scott Oakley will be joining late. Eamon Cohen sadly will not be with us today. Old Man Comics John might show up. We'll see. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it. This is basically just a hangout and us talking shit.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show. We just pick a couple random topics and just jump right into it and tell kind of what we think about it. So, anyway, Keith,
Yo.
drop us in with our first topic, man.
All right. So let's talk about what just happened at Comic-Con. So, Kenny, did you go? Were you at Comic-Con any of the days?
No, I didn't go. I'm gonna try and go next year. It's a long way from where I'm at, so I'm about San Diego's about 12 hours from here by car. So.
Oh shit!
Jeez. We're well, never mind. We're live, so I'm not going to ask where you
Yeah.
are.
I don't have any problem. Anybody wants to come to my house, they can come to my house. I got bears and shit out here, man. I live in California, so way the hell up. Like, I mean, like that way, maybe 3 blocks, it's forest for 1,000 miles. Like, it's right on the edge of civilization. So,
Okay. Well, I'm closer than you are. I'm about like two hours away from San Diego, which I wasn't anxious to make that drive, but I went on the last day because I was thinking, like, I hadn't been there since 2009.
Wow.
And it was the last day, and I had a pro badge, so I was like, all right, let me just go check it out. And I went, and it felt so different from the last time I was there, which is a pretty long time. It was packed more than it had ever been. It was to the point of where, for me personally, like, it was hard to get up close to anything. Everybody was in front of all the displays, and I would try to, like, nudge my way in there, but like people just like stood there. Like, even if you're trying to like check out like the new figures or whatever, like, they don't move. They're like, no, I'm here,
Yeah.
So
wow. I heard there was like well over 100,000 people there.
It had to be. I looked outside at one point and I saw an entire block packed to the brim of people outside. Like, it was just everywhere. It was the most people I've ever seen at a convention. And even when I came out, it was like something out of like a cartoon or something. I came out, and then there was like somebody on loudspeaker, like not a part of the convention or anything. They were just like talking about social issues and stuff.
Oh wow.
And then, like, I was just walking across the street to get like to the point to where I could get picked up, and then a parade of like Palestinian protesters of like freeing Palestine and all that, and that they came marching up. So it was just like one thing after another, like,
wow,
outside of Comic-Con, and then the police formed a wall to block the protesters from going any further. And like that was like outside immediately when I left. So that was kind of funny.
I heard there's like serious outcries from the fans to move it. Actually, a lot of people have been saying Vegas, because their convention center is like 3 times the size of San Diego, to be able to fit, all the people. Plus, San Diego, they don't have the room for it anymore. I mean, they're gouging people on the hotels. I've heard as high as $1,000 a night on some of the rooms. Some of the hotels are doing lotteries for rooms. I mean, it's just, it's crock shit.
So has it always been at the same place?
as far as I can remember, it's always been San Diego. But I mean, they could move it. That's up to Comic-Con, you know.
Yeah. Inside it was just packed. I saw Liefeld. I saw Klaus Janson. He was there. He was talking to somebody. Everybody was talking to somebody.
Right.
I saw like Aaron Lepresti was there, and he had like the same guy talking to him for like 2.5 hours. So I was like, maybe I should go save that guy. But I was like,
just rescue him.
Yeah.
You always get two of those guys when you're at a con that just talks to you forever, and it's like it's fine, but it's not fine. It's kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta like think about like, you know, hey, maybe this guy's just being polite. You gotta think about other people that want to like come by and chat and stuff like that, and even people doing sketches. I would imagine that would take away from. I never wanted to like be down and doing commissions. I would rather like be like, making eye contact and trying to talk to people and just
I never like drawing and stuff while I'm at a show. It's kind of weird. Like I'm just kind of like looking down in my notebook or whatever and ignoring people. It's kind of it's like people and stuff.
I always hated that from the fan perspective. You know, I mean, it's cool in some ways, but going up there and they're drawing and you feel like you're a problem. You know, you don't really know how to approach them.
Like you're interrupting and stuff. Yeah.
And there is that kind of thing, but man, the struggle is real. Like there was like a sobering sense of when walking the floor, even in the small press and the artist alley, as packed as it was, it didn't feel like people were buying too much. And a lot of people in small press, self-publishing, were just kind of sitting there talking to each other.
Wow.
But it had a sense to me of like, like dreams slowly dying. It's like, you have this expectation of going into this and people really putting like their dream project on paper and to print. And there's so much to, it's really saturated, especially with prints, like the people just selling prints of Spider-Man and popular characters and Venom and stuff like that. I said in a post, I was like, I feel like this should just be Print Palooza. It's more of that than I feel like comics.
I tell you, man. I mean, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you went first. Go ahead.
No, I was when I did New Orleans beginning of the year. I mean, there were a lot of independent creators there, but what kind of shocked me was the amount. I mean, even the independent creators, they had their book down here, but they had a whole lot of Prince Marvel shit and DC shit. I was the only one that just had my own prints of my own characters. I was like, damn, what are you guys doing?
That's true. Go ahead, Kenny. You were going to say something.
I feel like when I started out, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to do like prints and stuff, like popular characters and stuff like that. I just never really got into it. Just I don't really like it. I just like drawing like whatever I feel like, and just kind of doing my own thing. But I don't know if that helps me or hurts me. I have no idea. I don't really feel like people who have a ton of prints at their table are really doing that good either, considering everybody around's doing the exact same thing. So
yeah,
that was a key takeaway for me. Was there's no formula. There's nothing that is going to be like the sure bet. Like even if you're like looking to invest in and make money into a comic book, which is like farsighted in itself, but the idea of like following a roadmap or a surefire hit doesn't exist, which is great because we can do whatever we want, and if it connects, it connects. because you see things like collectibles or just little prints of somebody drawing a popular character in an animated style, and a print gets sold of that for $20, or like weird niche things that you never even seen, and you got a line of girls that are a fan of that thing and collectibles, and it's like, and comics seem to be like very secondary, or at least third tier on the draw.
Let me kick back to that a little bit, because
Mhm.
I mean, even in New Orleans, there was a huge, I mean, it's Fan Expo, and I talked to several of the people that were working the con, like my booth mates and stuff like that, and they told me flat out, they said that was one of the worst cons business wise they had done, in like a year, because I mean, Saturday was the big push for the signing. That's when a lot of the stars were there, and I mean there were several. Mackie was there. Oh God, a couple from the Mandalorian. Katie Sackhoff was there from the Mandalorian. The guy that played Ezra Miller was there. Danny Trejo was there. All the Hobbits from Lord of the Rings, every single one of them were there, except
That's
for
cool.
John Austin. I think he was sick. He didn't make it, but the rest of the guys did. I mean, what was the big one though? Punisher. Punisher was there. John Berthal.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
let's see. Oh God. Daredevil, Charlie Cox, he was there. My son got to meet him. Kingpin, he was there. I mean, there was a large star presence. And I mean, Saturday was insane in that place. The bathroom was literally probably 40 foot from me, and it took me a half an hour to get to the bathroom from my booth. That's how insane it was that first Saturday. And
I
I mean,
believe it.
still, I had good sales. I had really good sales. People were telling me, what are you doing? Well, I just get out and talk to folks. I would literally get out of my booth, get in the aisle, and stop folks. Say, hey,
Mhm.
man, you like supernatural comics?
Mhm.
Just basically drag them in and just start bullshitting. So
Yeah.
It's the way to do
they
it.
wanted the books. I mean, they were just wanting somebody to reach out to them.
That's what I mean, is like,
They're wanting
if
that
your head's
personal
down
connection.
if your head's down drawing a commission,
You can't. Yeah, they'd walk right by you.
Yeah, you won't even notice them. I want to mention two things about what you said. So you talked about the hobbits. Every time I see those guys, I'm super annoyed that they're not actual hobbits. Like, it's fucking insane.
Like lying fuck.
Like, right? They're like 6 feet fucking tall. It's so crazy to me. It always drives me crazy. And then the other thing, one thing I always like to do when I do smaller cons, like sometimes I'll go find like a trash can somewhere or something like that, and like create a choke point by my table, so like people have to funnel in, so I can trap them there. Just
so,
like,
hey man, you like Owl comics? You like Samurai Owl? Come over here.
Yeah, so I'll find a way to make a choke point or something like that, just to kind of control the flow of traffic. It's always kind of fun to do that. Sometimes the showrunners will get irritated and be like, "What the fuck's this trash can doing over here?" And I'm saying,
hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. Hey, whatever works is what I say.
Yeah, and the thing of what works is it's liberating in a way to see how, no matter all these levels of skill, I mean, you can have a fine art print of Captain America, or Superman or something like that, and the guy's just sitting there, like glory, like great, nice, beautiful painted pop art, and then like what's selling is like some weird cartoon thing that looks like it's from Japan, and it's weird, but that's what I feel like is liberating, is because there's no like there's no surefire way of like no roadmap really to follow to what clicks or what sells, and that kind of evens the playing field, because you can really just say this is the idea that I've been wanting to do. This is the thing that I really feel like I want to see in a comic book. This is the thing that moves me. You know, I'm compelled to tell this story, and you can do it and shoot your shot and put it out there. And if it connects, it connects. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, but it doesn't, like, it really kind of makes it more focused on the creative aspect instead of like what sells, like what is marketed. You know, it's like it's like you're being true to yourself as a creator. And I think even in this oversaturated market, if you are true to yourself and you do something that like you're proud of, like that's it, man. That's it in itself. Don't you think?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm trying to find this. Somebody posted something interesting today. I'm trying to find it. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it's basically just kind of saying like, you know, the next it was in regarding to indie games, but I mean same concept, right? I mean with comics, right? Where you know saying the next big thing is going to come from, you know, some indie guy, not some, you know, AAA studio that has no fucking idea. I mean, these guys are, you know, these things are all run by, you know, corporate suits and shit that just don't actually give a fuck about anything but the profits they're going to make.
You think about some of the things that's hit in the last couple of years. It hasn't been anything from DC or Marvel as far as comic goes. I mean, comics in general. I mean, you think about one of the last big comics, and it's it just kind of come out of nowhere. Something's killing the children. That become a overnight success. You know, boom, just kind of pulled that out of their ass. You know, and everybody jumped on it.
I feel like we went through this like period of time with that stuff too, where it was like some like the things with like the strangest names were like just shooting up to the top of everybody's list. Like
James Tynion, perfect example.
What did you say?
James Tynion, a perfect example. You know, he's the writer for Something Is Killing the Children. Yeah. He had done some work on Justice League, but nobody knew who the fuck he was. You know, now he's a household name.
And he still can't pay his medical bills, probably.
Probably not. That's the truth, man.
He's not retiring until he's 105.
Exactly.
I don't think you retire from this kind of stuff, though. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think retirement. I'm like, do I ever retire from doing this? Probably not. I don't think that's kind of a thing you think about doing. Even if you made enough money to retire, would you? Like, probably not.
I mean, there's the myth that Alex Toth died at his desk, you know.
Yeah. Kirby, pretty much same thing, you know. Kirby, that one's a sad story, though. I mean, it's total horse shit the way they done that guy. You know,
Kirby.
I mean, the king of fucking comics, and he didn't really even get recognized until after the fact. Hold on, guys. You keep the conversation going. I'm gonna bring in somebody else here. Hold on.
Well, I think Kirby was I mean, I don't know, but there's recordings of him where people are talking. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Matt. Great to have you, dude.
Good to be here eventually.
Yeah. Scott told me the same thing. He was having train issues too, trying to get out.
It's going to surprise you, but it's flooded train tracks in England.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Wow. Or something?
Ironically, when it's hot. So we've got like little monsoon rain things coming in. But literally, yeah, just a bit of a pain out of London. But back and good. You guys good?
Oh, man, awesome. Good. Great to be talking to you guys, man.
Yeah.
To just have a hangout. So basically what we've covered so far, Keith, you want to give him the rundown so far?
We were just talking about Comic-Con right now, and the one that just happened in San Diego, California.
I saw you went. How was it?
Well, I talked about it already. It was pretty fucking crowded. It was just like hard to get anywhere. That like if you try to look at anything, the crowd just kind of like picks you up like a like a river or something.
Like you're in a mosh pit or something. You just
Yeah, yeah. It's like wait a second, saw Michael Biehn was there and Sam Jones was there, Flash Gordon, remember
Oh,
Flash
wow.
Gordon from the
That's
80s,
cool.
and what's his name from Terminator, Michael Biehn, played Kyle Reese.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He was in New Orleans. He was there. What's her name? Sarah Connors, the one that played her. Yeah, yeah,
Oh really? She
yeah.
there
There was a
too?
big presence for Terminator.
Oh, cool.
Eddie Furlong was there.
Nice.
Basically everybody other than Arnold from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you even had the newer Terminator, the liquefied one. I mean, he's played
yeah.
a lot of other stuff. He was there too. Plus, he was in Peacemaker. Yeah.
Robert Patrick, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. I like him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He does
Really
the,
awesome.
the motorcycle thing. I think it's a ride for veterans thing or something like that.
Yeah, he's like a founder of Harley Davidson Valencia, which is like the town I live in out here in California. And,
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the organization he does, but it's pretty cool what he does.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I was saying earlier. Is like, everybody's trying to make some money. Like, it doesn't matter if you've done like these great hit movies or something. Everybody's trying to make some money at these cons, and even if it's like our autographed photo of themselves, just do what you can,
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, they were charging like $100 a pop just for a picture, and then you paid $100 extra for the signature. That's what was crazy. I mean, they would bang bang. They were doing the old 1-2 on your ass.
Yeah, it sucks to say that. It kind of makes sense a little bit because I mean those guys.
Yeah.
You used to get these guys, these resellers, going there. Hey, sign me 100 things for nothing, and then they're on eBay fucking the next day for fucking $1,000.
Exactly. That me and Adam Kubert talked about that at a con a few years ago. Because I hadn't been to a con in years, and then I go in there and they were charging for signatures, and I was like floored. And I got talking to Adam Kubert, and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of the fans' fault." They said they'll take our word, and immediately jump on eBay, and so we started cashing in too. So
a lot of times people don't realize that it's not just the scalpers and the resellers that are the problem; it's the people that are buying the shit too. Like if you didn't buy this shit, they'd stop fucking selling it.
Exactly, they quit. Dude, that was like that reminds me. Who was it? It was Jim Lee. It was Jim Lee by himself. He did like right before Comic-Con, he was going to have so many commissions available at Comic-Con, and he was getting like $30,000 a pop.
Yeah, I think they were saying like I think it was 20,000 he was charging for each commission. I think it was 20 grand, maybe.
Yeah.
Or was it 30?
Yeah, it was 20
Yeah, it
or
was
30
20,000.
grand.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Good for him.
insane. Yeah, I mean, hey,
Good for him.
he filled it up.
So apparently there was like all this controversy on X about that, where like people were like, I didn't know. I logged on one day and like people were like saying, why are everybody attacking Jim Lee for his con prices and all that? I'm like, I didn't even know that they were,
Yeah,
it's like, why do people care? Like what Jim Lee like is charging for a commission? It's like, you're not going to charge anything near that. You've got to like, he's Jim Lee.
If he can get it, here's where I'm at. More power to it.
Who cares?
Well, I mean, here's the thing too, right? Like, I mean, he's Jim Lee. Like, he doesn't have to do that. He's fucking rich. He's loaded as fuck. Like, he could go and do something else and make 20 grand or whatever. With that time that he's spending doing that. Like,
I love how he does. He'll do so many a year. He'll do like he'll do a drawing for charity, and bid it off, and however much it makes, it automatically he's got the charity preset. I mean, he's basically head of DC Comics now. He doesn't have to fucking do that shit, but he does. So if he wants to charge $20,000-$30,000 for a picture, hey, go for it, dude. Get yours, brother.
Yeah, the market will determine the price. If people are willing to pay it,
Mhm.
then that's ultimately what happens. So if people are going to pay 20 grand for it, he's going to charge 20 grand.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
You know what?
Exactly.
We gotta get somebody in here that's gonna disagree.
Heritage
War
auction,
here.
you know.
Well, we're kind of biased. We are all artists, so
But it's like
he's taking the prices up. It's only
Yeah.
like most
yeah.
people enjoy seeing. I think most people enjoy seeing people succeed and do well, but there definitely are people out there that I don't know if it's envy or just like frustration with their own creativity, will just like, bash on something, for whatever reason. But like, if you could get 20 grand, that's great. Like let them do it. It's like, that would be great to aspire to something like that, where you do a drawing and somebody wants to buy it for 20 grand.
I think you did like a Bluey one or some shit like that. Like Bluey dressed as a fucking Han Solo, I think it was.
Bluey.
Somebody
Who the hell
paid
is Bluey.
Somebody paid 20 grand for like a Bluey drawing from that like kids cartoon.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did one for that. Yeah, it was like Bluey dressed as Han Solo or some shit.
Oh,
With like a Sharpie.
Keith, you had kids the right age, you'd know exactly who Bluey was. Believe me.
Well, I see it. I
Saturday
definitely see it in
hey,
the
my grandbaby loves Bluey.
Yeah,
I see it
I
in
know
the-
exactly who Bluey is.
in the TV guide. I just go past.
Yeah.
Bluey has got a lot of my money here lately.
Well, see, there you go. Like,
Yeah.
Not giving $20,000 for a Bluey picture, though. I tell you that shit right now.
You get a lot of Bluey pictures for 20 grand, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he should do a Bluey Galactus. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
The right shaped head. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. Honestly. Oh, so would you go back, Keith, or not to it?
what's up?
Would you go back?
No.
No?
Nope. I'm not. I will avoid that until something else happens. I like smaller cons. I'll try but Comic-Con is just super packed. I wouldn't pay for it. Like all of you guys could get a pro badge. I would recommend, if you want to check it out, get a pro badge. They don't offer like complimentary secondary badges or anything like that, like WonderCon does, but it would suck to pay that much money for Comic-Con and then end up going there and it's just like packed every single day and you can't you got to fight to. It's too much. To me, I don't enjoy the crowds like that.
I feel like all the ones I've tabled at big shows, like they're like that, like you said, like they're so crowded and it's just hard to talk to people because there's just people fucking like just kind of loitering around everywhere and just kind of standing in the way of people and just kind of not necessarily being a nuisance, but just the way the whole thing's set up is just kind of you got people, just waves of people just
There's no flow. There's no organization to it.
right.
It's just like a mob in there.
Well, there's too much flow. People are just kind of just marching through and just kind of, just looking around, and which is fine. But I mean, from a tabling standpoint, you're just kind of like, hey, come over here and look at my stuff, and like they're like, nah, see ya. Smaller shows, you can kind of grab people and say, hey, come here, motherfucker. You're gonna look at this whether you like it.
Yeah, and the tables were really small too. They're squeezing everybody together, like they shrank. Even the
Maximize.
small
Yeah.
tables are smaller than they were in 2009. Like they're like it's almost like you're sharing a table.
What do you think they're using, like 4-foot tables, 6-foot tables?
No bigger than 4, if that.
Wow. That's tight.
That's wild.
Real
I don't
tight.
think I've ever been anything that had less than a 6.
Right.
And most small shows use 8 8-foot tables I've been going to usually use 8-foot tables.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of shows here, Kenny. Have you? I know you've already gotten your main book back out that you did the short issue for here recently. That you did the Ash Can.
Yeah.
Have you had it at the con yet? How this been being received?
I took it to the last con I went to in Reno. It did pretty good. It's just I haven't really. It was the first time I took it out, so I really having like trouble kind of explaining, like not having trouble, but I had like my whole thing with the owl, with Apex and stuff, like where I'm grabbing people's attention with that, and then I'm like, and by the way, I have this too, and I'm just like, it just sounds stupid, so just trying to figure out how to sell it, because you have to sell it to people in like 10 seconds or they're fucking gone. Like they're like, I don't care, I want to see Spider-Man, and they're fucking out, so
Yep.
Or whatever's cool at the moment. Baby Yoda was one for a minute there where I was just like, man, I'm just gonna start drawing Baby Yoda all the time.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna draw
Baby Yoda commissions.
I'm just gonna draw Baby Yoda for the rest of my life because it's like a cool thing. I don't know.
Have him do like a series of him eating different kinds of frogs.
Right. So it went pretty good. I was gonna sign up for a bunch of shows this year, and then somehow I thought I signed up for a bunch and just like didn't do it, and then so I just kind of pared down my schedule to just a few, and then maybe next year I'll go out real hardcore and try to do a bunch. Last year I went nuts. I did so many different things, but some of the shows here are getting so big too. One I did really good at, which I didn't expect to do good at all, was SAC Anime, which is in Sacramento, and it's gotten so big now where it's just a lottery to get in. So they're like curating like 30 or 40% of the Artist Alley, and then it's on a lottery to get in. And for like the last 3 years, I haven't been able to get into that show at all. So, and it's kind of a weird environment for me because as a comics person, it's like an anime, like manga kind of thing. But I can't even explain what happened at this place, the times that I've gone. People kind of walk around in there like they're like just, I don't. It's hard to explain without like sounding like I'm insulting people, but they just kind of walk around like they just don't give a fuck about anything. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then
that's pretty much the new generation, isn't it? I mean, as a whole,
maybe that's what it is. But you get like maybe 1 in 10 people come by and they're like, "Whoa, this is really fucking cool!" Like and you start explaining it to them and stuff. But it's super good at that show every time I went, and then it's just been possible to get back in there. So.
What city was that? What con was that?
Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
It's called SAC Anime. It's gotten huge. And they do a couple like offshoot shows, like they've got like a winter one and like a spring one now. But their big ones in the summer, I think it's coming up here pretty soon. But it kind of sucks because like a show like that where I was like, I have people that are like have become like legitimate fans of my stuff. And like, when you come back to SAC Anime, and I'm like, never, because they just won't let me back in. Go tell them you want me in there, and then maybe they'll put me in. I don't know, but
that's cool when that happens, though. When you get to meet people that follow you every year and just like pick up everything you put out, that's such a cool feeling to be like, cool. Wow, you're following me. You're following what I'm doing. Like, it's cool.
Yeah,
really hard with that too, because like when I first started doing those shows, everybody was wearing masks still. So like people would come back like a year or two later and they'd be like, "Hey, remember me?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like,
"What about now? What about now?" Oh yeah,
that would happen a lot. Like, "Oh yeah, we were like wearing masks and shit back then." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that makes total fucking sense." But a lot of times too, when people are cosplaying, like they'll come up dressed in a costume or something like that, and then I'll see them again a year or two later, and they're like, "Hey, remember me?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. Like, the costume totally threw me off. So
it works.
So it's fun. So hopefully next year I'm gonna just tear it up and just go extra crazy. It's hard because I got to travel so far to do anything. I'm 3, 4, 9, 10 hours away from anything by car, and then obviously if I want to go to the East Coast, I got to fly. So
yeah. So how are the cons across the pond, Matt? I mean, do you pretty much run into the same stuff, or is Indy have more of a presence?
Yeah, I've not done the cons, but it's just much smaller in scale over here. So you get kind of some of the bigger ones that run through London. So you got MCM and a few others. But even those are turning more, like the guy said, it's more towards anime cosplay. Feels like it's less about the comic side. And you have a lot of small regional ones, but they're so small, it's kind of barely worth. I mean, to be fair, the town I live in kind of put one on, which randomly Jason Momoa came to.
Oh, wow.
Randomly. And was back to your point, was charging about $300 a picture, $300, some insane amount. But they're super hit and miss. So it's almost, is it worth taking space there for the sake of the audience that's going to be there? Are they really engaged, or is it a load of kind of parents bringing their 6-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids along because it's seen as like a Spider-Man, Batman convention? So it's a little bit more hit and miss. So I'll probably, I mean, if I can get Incarcerated out next year, I'll probably try and look to do some. It's just having the right material, but then it's probably cherry picking a little bit. And probably, to be honest with you, reaching out with some UK creators to find out which are the ones that are worth doing, rather than kind of, because even from a professional point of view, it's again pretty hit and miss in terms of who turns up where.
Yeah.
So a lot of them kind of, you'll get someone, you'll get a Marvel artist appear at one of the little ones, then you'll get a couple of appearances on the big ones. It's not consistent in terms of who's at each con. So yeah, we'll see. Like I say, it's just generally small in scale, because obviously UK wise is probably no bigger than California in total. So just like having one big con and lots of little ones that are dotted around.
Well, Scott, and he still might come in. He would be a great resource. He's
definitely
not too far from you, I don't believe.
Yeah. No one's too far from us in the UK, so it's not like you guys. Everyone's like 3 to 4 hours away max. So it's right.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of Incarcerated, how is the book coming along?
Slow. Being honest, so
you hit that kind of drag?
It's it's just, I mean, it's probably like you guys, it's just finding the time to put into it. It's kind of like round work, family, other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm probably, where am I? I'm third the way through the pages, so not too bad. Kind of, it's all fleshed out, but probably if I can get 2/3 of it done by end of the year, I'll probably Kickstarter it out. But I just want to make sure it's like you told before, Joey, trying to make sure it's pretty much there before doing that. Last time I do is put it out there, and it's like 6-9 months before you actually get it finished. So, but no, still I'm happy with that. It's coming together. It's just the time again. It's just, I think when you realise when you're writing, drawing, colouring, and lettering, you're in book, you kind of forget that suddenly it's like, that's not like a week, like a day a page. That's like a week a page. Just start adding it all up, and it's like, wow, okay. Then you're trying not to get divorced through that process, and kids,
exactly.
Elements that kind of play into it, and it's like, okay, yeah. Oh, and I've got a job as well that needs to pay the mortgage, so there's that bit that comes. But I mean, I love it. It's just trying to carve the time out. But we're getting there.
Yeah, we can definitely all relate to that.
Oh yeah.
I know, but nearly there. So super. Like I say, really happy with how it's going. So it's nice. I think it's the first thing I've written fully myself. So it's nice to actually have a bit more ownership of that creative process.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know how you guys have found it. The only thing I'm not struggling with, I'm trying to write for the story and not for the art. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
completely. So you're trying not just to write to draw stuff you want to draw and actually make it a cohesive story.
Yeah.
So that I'm kind of battling with that a little bit in terms of, that'd be cool to do actually, but but it makes no sense.
It's tough to find that pacing, but you have to find it. You got to have the slow stuff to go along. It's one thing that's been the hardest for me. You got to kind of have that roller coaster, but you can't have the climb and then the sudden drop, and then you're just rolling flat until you almost come to a stop. You got to keep having it throughout the book. Yeah. That's the toughest part.
It's definitely, it's tough. Like I say, I really am enjoying it though. It's super fun to do. I think having that full ownership, it's just right. It's just, I think everything else I've done has always been written. So it's just seeing it through a different lens and kind of design it a different way. The thing for me is just trying to make every page slightly interesting or fun to do.
Yeah.
So not to kind of get to a couple of pages that you feel like I don't really want to do this, because otherwise the momentum does drop. So it's trying to.
Dude, I tell you, your lines, man, your lines. I am envious. I've told you this plenty of times though, but I mean, even in your talking head pages, you've got so much going on, man. My eyes are just all over. It's just incredible looking.
Thank you, man.
One of my favorite things you did that I seen you do, Matt, is in the backup story for End of Days. And you had all these like vampires like jumping all around, and it feels like it's in slow motion, like like it's paused, like, and I can totally see like that's what you're seeing, like they're just jumping all over the place, and there's like all this movement in the groups and the piles of attacking vampires. I really like that.
Cheers, man. I think it's just fun. I mean, yeah, I take a lot of inspiration from what you guys do as well. It's quite nice. I think it's nice having a community.
Just take it, Matt. Take the compliment.
It's all you do. It's all you, man.
Yeah.
Compliment.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it, mate. It's good. I mean, I don't know what you guys do. I always just try and see it like a film script and try and kind of almost go. Imagine for Keith, it's probably for you. It probably comes quite easily with the job that you do in terms of breaking it down that way. But I think it's kind of trying to look at it. If I was pacing this in a film, how would I pace it? Where would I want to put the camera?
Yep.
Also, realizing the limitations of your art in terms of what can I actually draw, as well, which sometimes comes into it when you put it in a place and go, actually, this looks awful. But I think it's the most fun part is doing that. But it's laying it out and figuring out how to play around the camera angles. So, yeah, I'm glad it's coming through.
Do you guys ever run into this? I have, and I run into it here recently. When you get to a panel and you can see it in your mind, but you can't figure out how to get it on the page and make it look right. I've run into that here recently, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get the angle that I want, and I just don't know if it's going to work. Do y'all ever run into that in your books when you're creating?
One of the things that I'll do is if I'm having, like, whether it's writing or drawing, if I'm stuck or I feel blocked, that means I need more information. So I go right to, like, if something's off and like something's not playing right, or like this angle isn't playing right, or maybe this scene isn't fitting, then I'll go into research mode again, and I'll be like, and I'll be like a detective. I'll just start taking stuff in. And sometimes you just need to walk away. But like if there's something's off, that means I need more information. I need to go do, whether it's photo reference or act it out, like set up the camera and play, like record yourself and play both sides. I've done that before to try to help with dialogue, and just like see how I would move or how the character would move in a scene. And sometimes that's all it is just like, oh, I needed anatomy on like how this movement goes. And then it's like, all right, I got it. Now you just go again. I mean, Google's our friend, as far as reference goes. Maybe not like as far as humanity goes, but as far as like artist research.
I do this. I use the camera a lot, to be honest. So I use it a lot in terms of just reference and to do what you do, Keith, which is try and figure out, especially actually when it's more movement related, to actually do the movement and kind of be able to pause the camera and figure out actually what point of that would work really well. I mean, that's again we can talk the blessing and the curse of the iPhone, but it is great in terms of giving you the ability to be able to do that now and skip through. But I use a reference a lot for mine in terms of just trying to find. My anatomy is okay, but it's not brilliant in terms of understanding it. So I use quite a lot of reference just to make sure it's pretty much on point. And then I do a lot of my stuff as well as I still read a lot of comics, and there's certain artists that I'll go back to understand how they've broken down a panel or a scene, or kind of there's cool kind of angles and stuff I see. I'll try and remember it or reference it or jot it down quickly so I think that's, I don't know if it's the same with you guys. I think a lot of kind of where my stuff comes from is little bits of different artists that I respect and like in different ways, and it slowly kind of meshes together over the last whatever much it is now, what 44 years, but 34 probably of reading stuff, of little kind of bits coming together in the right way.
I do the same thing for movies as well. I'll go through movies just like, hey, what this like, think about the cool scene, like I don't know, in like Seven Samurai, when the guy, comes riding in on his horse or whatever, like, whoa, dude, that's fucking cool. Like, screen cap it and maybe, see what I like about that, the composition of the shot, the angle, the way it's looking, stuff like that. So, just for example, samurai movies are always good compositional reference for movies or for artwork. Anyways, they always use like strong composition in those to create, really cool scenes. So.
Mm-hmm.
That shows in your work too, Kenny. I mean, especially that last book, some of those scenes, man, look like something you would see in the movie. They were very cinematic.
Thank you.
I mean,
I want
it's incredible stuff. Yeah,
scale,
very wide scale. I love
want to make things look huge, right? Like
yeah.
You're like the world is the character too, right? Like not just the characters. Yeah. So,
and that really interests me. That's one of the things that I've tried to aspire to, and far from achieving it. But within the days, I've tried to kind of I want to make London its own thing, and the issues that Matt had a part of, he really brought that home. I mean, some of those panels,
Jerry, I should do, Jerry. I've walked through it every day, so I'll be all right.
No, but dude, some of the panel work, I mean, just especially for Ballad of the Damned. I mean, some of those scenes were just incredible.
I don't think I ever told you. So I actually took a lot of reference shots walking around.
Yeah,
for that. But it's super helpful when you live close somewhere,
right,
where it's been set. So I appreciate the fact that you kept it there. But yeah, I do. I mean, again, I think it does. Yeah, I think you're probably playing yourself down. I think you've done a really good job, to be fair, in terms of bringing that to life and that era. In terms of, kind of walking that line. I think between the horror piece and kind of between the noir piece, I think works really well. Plus, your colours. What I love is you can see the progression of your art and the colours and stuff through the series. And the last bit particularly. Look, yeah, you did a great job. So
I appreciate that, man. That's high praise, dude. That got me right here, dude.
What I was going for.
I mean, I'm in the presence of greatness right now. That's the way I feel. I did a post. It's been a good while back, and it was like my oh God, I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, basically, my favorite artist, and you guys are it. Everybody can have the Jim Lees and the Mark Silvestris and stuff like that, but you guys, man, you're in the trenches. And I have a lot of respect for each and every one of you.
I appreciate it. It's
reciprocated. Gary's always so full of nice things to say.
Hey, I'm that guy. Keith told me I was too nice a while back, and I said, dude, if you only knew. I said, if you only knew, man. I said, I make an effort to be. I said, I'm naturally an asshole. I make an effort to be a good guy.
How's it? So, Joe, are you working Bounty at the minute? Then is that what you're working on?
I'm still working out Bounty. What I was bringing up is one of the issues I'm having. First page, I've hit a wall. I know what I want to do. I've got it right here. I just got to translate it to the page. I've worked past it. I've got a couple of pages done, but the setup, the very first thing, I'll tell you guys offline because I don't want to throw too many spoilers in here right out of the gate. But I mean, this thing is people are going to love it or they're going to hate it. I mean, there's not going to be any in between. I'm not holding any punches on this one. So,
well, try the method I was telling you about.
I definitely will. I appreciate all the advice.
Start looking at pictures or photos or the genre, what illustrations have been done over the years, and maybe it'll help. Watch Blade Runner.
Yeah. I was gonna say Star Wars or something, like just throw on Star Wars and just like just get your mind off of the other thing you're doing and just watch a movie or something and just it'll come
click.
I tell you, movies, I've talked about this 1,000 times. But yeah, I see my comic like a director, basically. I see it as a movie. And I just do my best to translate it to the page as I go. I mean, it's all up here. It's just getting it to the page. And I'm not a thumbnail guy. I know some of you guys, you're huge on thumbnails. I see it. It's weird. I see it, and I do my best to automatically translate that. Maybe I need to start doing thumbnails. Maybe. I mean, that might be what I need.
All I do is thumbnails. Thumbnails.
Oh, wow. I know, but that really goes with your work too. I mean, that's pretty much your artistic process. With storyboarding, you have to do thumbnails.
Yeah, see how it flows and see what the shot should be, and
because every shot's a money shot with you, and it cuts down on your workload by doing thumbnails.
Going back to like what Matt was saying is like I really write and then worry about like if it's not going to be fun to draw but it serves the story, like it has to be there, then that's what I'm going to draw. You know, like it's never like, oh, I don't want to draw that, so I'll change the story around. Like but sometimes it seems like a lot of mainstream comics will do that, and maybe I should do that sometimes, but sometimes it like, hey, if this scene is dull, it's meant to be dull, and then the next, like, to get to the next thing, like I'm not afraid of slowing things down and let it be boring. If that's how it feels it needs to be, let it be boring, so that you're kind of you're bringing that up in the reader's experience, you know, like let them be bored, and then you take them up, then you take them like for the ride, you know. And I love tricking people out like that. I love like manipulating people in that way, like in the story sense of like, oh, what is this? Oh, why is this, like, what is going on? Like, where is this going? And then all of a sudden I got you. Now we're going where you wanted to go. But you sometimes have to start at the starting line, you know? And I think that's we can't start at 100. We got to start at like 10 miles an hour sometimes, and then build up the speed. And that's what makes that high point so much fun.
Yeah, I was just fixing to say that before you finished out. I mean, that's been the hardest part for me to learn, because if I'm not careful, I can get bogged down in those slow periods, you know. But the one thing that kind of helps me push through when I'm drawing those little slow pieces is I concentrate more on background, and I'll try to really spruce up the background with little details, and that makes it more fun for me. It challenges me to add these little intricate pieces. Like I'll throw in a grandfather clock, and I'll reference that, you know, and just all the little intricate gears. I try to put some kind of challenging piece in the background and any of those slow parts that kind of challenges me on a whole nother level and helps me push through that.
Yeah.
But you know, exactly. Once you grab the reader and you get them going in that, it adds so much more to them. It's so much more payoff for them to have those slow periods and be able to slow down and kind of just live in the moment for a minute and then push through to something awesome. It adds so much more to the action pieces, you know, when you finally get there, because they get to marinate in the story.
Yeah, sometimes it's visual, sometimes it's story.
Right.
That takes the front, and like it could still be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like make it interesting with the story. If the visual has to take a back seat, let's push the story up front.
Really dive into that dialogue.
More interesting. Maybe we can use the dialogue to make the character shine here. And then, you know, it's like it's a balancing act.
Definitely.
And it's so instinctual, you know, it's different for everybody.
So we touched bases with both the projects from Matt and Kenny. What are your own page? What, 1,000 and what?
I just finished page 74, which is I don't know what that is right now of issue 4. So
Oh, wow.
like 5, 6, 7. So I'm on like the 7th issue. So like equivalent of
Right.
And
So
I
you're
missed a few
basically
weeks.
150 pages in,
I
roughly.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Wow.
I missed a couple weeks because of work, and I just kind of like took a little break and went to con and saw a couple movies. But I finished I finished page 74 yesterday, and it's like what Matt was saying is like, you know, like you do all this other stuff, but then you get excited, like, and it's like you dive back in, and then you realize, oh, there's that problem. You know, it's like you're excited, but then you're like, oh,
Shit, gotta climb that wall.
it was waiting for me. It didn't solve itself.
So, what do you reckon, timing wise, Keith? Are you kind of got a idea of when you think you're gonna be ready to go?
I don't know. It depends with work, because I don't have a set schedule with work, and it's like when things get busy, then I just have to take whatever comes in.
Yeah.
So it's that's why it's so hard to keep a schedule with it. But I'm gonna work again tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work on
We got faith in you. I couldn't even imagine. I got all the respect in the world, man, for you for pushing on through and making this one whole project instead of, you know, kind of slowing down and throwing it out as floppies. You know, to get a little bit of. That's one reason I did the floppies. One of the main reasons
do that next.
I'm a floppy guy. I mean, I love the monthly type. That's what I grew up with. That's what we all grew up with.
Right.
You know, trades have just become a thing here in the last, say, 5 to 10 years. You know, but anybody that pushes through to do a trade, I've got all the respect in the world for, because you don't get that gratification that you would from pushing it out in smaller elements, and you know, you're just sitting there. You're just in the story for the entire time.
It's probably a huge
feedback.
mistake, but who cares anymore? You know, it's like just do what feels right. You know, you got to do what feels right. I'm exactly. A huge like proponent of like, you know, we don't work for a company, and we don't have to take, you know, dictatorial orders, and you know, we just like, this is the vision of the project, and you know, I'm fine with making mistakes and failures, and let it be what it's going to be, and learn from it and do the next thing. Yeah. So
one quick thing, we've got an audience that we've been ignoring. Hey, you guys,
there's somebody watching this?
Yeah, there are people actually watching us. They're watching you guys. They're not watching this asshole. But anyway,
it's your channel,
guys. You got three professionals here and one shithead that just draws every once in a while. So if you got any questions or comments, be sure and jump in the chat. These guys, I don't know. They know. I'm telling you, these guys know. They can answer your questions. I'll take a stab in the dark at it. But you got three professionals here, and then you got this dickhead. So jump in chat.
How many we got watching?
3 or 4.
Nice.
One just ducked out when I mentioned him. We can't see you guys.
Questions. Oh shit! I'm out of here.
Oh my god! He sees us. I'm leaving.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I've been spotted. It's not like he snuck into a theater in between movies, guys.
Let me ask the question while we're waiting, shall we? How do you guys find the colouring side of stuff? In terms of...
Love it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So I love it. I find it the most challenging, I think, in some ways, in terms
definitely.
of getting the consistency and feel across the book, and then figuring out how the hell to actually make things look the way you want to make. I mean, I love Photoshop's great, but I mean, trying to figure out the filters and honest to God,
Yeah,
are you guys just self-teaching yourselves on this
Yeah.
and just kind of
pretty
going?
much, man. I look at a lot of stuff. You know, I'm like you. I still read comics, so I'll go through there. And like Kenny said, I use movies too. I mean, any kind of reference, you know, as far as color, you know, I've really tried to give that kind of dark, smoky type aesthetic to End of Days, and I mean, it's been a challenge, you know, and kind of give it that gaslight type look. And you have to you kind of play with it, and the little things to me seem to add the most value to a page as far as colors, as far as depth. And I'm still working that out, but I'm trying new things, you know, adding more shadow and just like with lighting, as far as with a room, you kind of have to picture where they are in the room, and kind of you pick your light point, and it kind of, if you get it just right, you know immediately, because it adds so much depth to the page. So it's
Yeah.
playing around and seeing what works for me. Kenny, you're the color guy, dude. You're the big color guy.
I'm just doing it, man. Like, I don't know. I was just trying to, like, people ask me this question all the time. I'm just like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I don't know.
You should
like,
use this stuff.
so I come from an oil painting background. I started out doing acrylic paints, like, I don't know, right around, I don't know, 2015, 2016. And I mean, even today, still, sometimes I feel like I'm just pushing fucking paint around until it just looks the way I want it to. So I don't know. I mean, it's just really just learning the tools and just kind of just figuring out, like, Photoshop's it can be pretty, how do you say it? Overwhelming at times. If you don't know, like, you know what, if you don't know how to make the effects you're trying to do, or, you know, the colors. I think most importantly, I think less is more. So I don't try to go too crazy with a lot of shit. And then one of the resources I like to use, I can't remember what it's called, but it's this it's an Instagram account maybe, or a Facebook account that, like, pulls the color palettes out of, like, movie scenes and, like, shit. So, like, or animations like Akira, they'll be like, this palette's like this, and they'll just put, like, a bar across the bottom, like, these are all the colors in this scene, and you can just look at it and it's like, well, that makes sense. It's just like little blocks at the bottom of the thing, and you can kind of go, okay, well, I really like that, I want to make something that looks like that, and then you start playing around with your own values and your own colors, just kind of try to, you know, get different effects that you want to get. So I don't know, it's hard. I think it's really hard to explain how to do it. I think you just kind of do it.
You could do that in Photoshop, where you take any photograph or any painting and just make a color palette.
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, change it and then select the colors, and then there's, like, a process you do, and it'll create, like, a color palette you can just, like, save.
Oh yeah, you know, I remember that now, actually. And then I think Procreate does it too, and on iPad, I think, as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You just push a button. I think it just compiles it all into one little.
We just get the color value from a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, like, if you open a painting or a screen grab of something, and you can open a filter, and it'll just, like, reduce the amount of colors keep reducing them down and down until you've got, like, a basic palette. Another trick that you can do is, like, if you just flat it, and then you can use gradient maps. Does anybody use gradient maps in Photoshop?
I use them all the time. That's like that's like the number one thing I use for blue heart emoji, is like gradient maps and stuff like that to get the colors that I want.
That's a nice way to marry all of the colors together, like a gradient map. Or if that's confusing, you can just do a flat color over like just drop a color across the whole page and then bring that layer down to color mode and reduce the opacity of that one color, and you'll see like it's like a little trick to like bring everything together so that like if you need like the scene to feel more warm or cool, you can use that to like break up the feeling, like use it as a filter for like to bridge a scene that lasts over like 3 pages or something. You can kind of do it that way too. They use that in comics all the time.
You use the gradient for that too. I usually do that with like Apex, like where there's like a lot of fire and stuff, like the bottom corner of the screen. I'll just take a purple and an orange gradient and just drag it across, and then switch like overlay or color or whatever, and just drop it down, just like that.
Yeah. I've started using that a lot with my lighting in the end of days over the last couple of issues, and real heavy in this next issue. Like light purples, oranges, light blue, to just change the feel, the aesthetic of the picture, whether it's night or day, or I used it first couple panels. Actually, first whole page. That there's like a purplish overlay and then an orange overlay, and then I kind of split it, where you get twilight, basically. And I've got to play with it a little bit more, but I think it turned out really good in the final stages.
Yeah. I enjoy the coloring to a degree. I mean, I think the next kind of book that I do will just be black and white, and I'll just do the drawings and the lettering and just like do black and white.
You going full black and white, or you going to go gray tones maybe?
Minimal, like screen tones maybe.
Yeah.
After skylights. So,
right. I love the color that you picked.
I gotta fix so much. Because I learned a lot, it's like just gotta. It's like all the flats are there, but I gotta correct a lot of things and kind of like blend it more.
Yeah. Always seems to be a problem with like doing a continual thing, like from like the beginning Apex stuff. I'm like, this looks like shit, and now I gotta go back. I'm doing this over here, and like I have to go back, and I'm like, well, maybe I should pull this back a little bit because it doesn't look too different from what I did before.
Yeah.
Just kind of maintain like a certain style, even though there's like clearly mistakes there. And I'm like, oh, I think I'll just keep going with this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we all have that. I mean, I look back at some of the old stuff, particularly really early stuff that I managed to get published. It's awful. Like, it's so bad. And it's like people say,
hey, that's my mom.
You got a question? Answer your mom, Keith, and we're going to answer your mom.
Well, she knows. I've told her already.
She wants your opinion here, Keith.
You gotta tell the fans at home.
Yeah, you got to tell the fans. It's not for your mom; it's for the fans, Keith.
Thanks a lot, Mom.
Hey, he's a grown man, but they're never grown in our eyes, Mr. Ron. You can still bend him over your knee. So she says, each one of you give your opinion about AI and how it will affect your work. So, Kenny, what you got?
For me personally, it doesn't affect my work at all. I'm not going to use it, and I don't work for anybody, so it doesn't. I'm not going to get replaced by anybody or replaced by AI or anything like that. So as a fully independent creator, I'm doing my own thing. It doesn't matter to me. I think maybe it does. Okay, well, maybe that's. I'm going to backtrack that a little bit. Maybe it does affect me.
I'm going to push back on that one.
There's going to be so many people that are going to start going independent that it might actually. I mean, it's already kind of a saturated market, I guess, being independent. But I think maybe you might see more people go independent. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for me. I don't really know. because as of right now, it's kind of hard to be seen and stand out in a sea of people who are doing the same exact thing I'm doing. But I mean, as far as directly affecting me, I'm not going to get fired for my job because I'm my own boss. But yeah, I mean, that's who knows. I really can't tell. I think it's going to go away. Honestly, I think it's. I feel like it's just going to go the way of NFTs. It's just going to disappear. And I mean, remember NFTs? I mean, I remember I went to a show and I had this guy at my table for 3 fucking hours, dude. I'm not even joking. Talking about how NFTs for the future, and he was showing me all his NFTs, his NFT wallet, and how I should make all my work into NFTs and all this shit. He's like, "Look, I bought this NFT for like $80 billion or whatever, and like, look how much it's worth now." And I'm just like, "Fuck this guy, dude! Like, he's such an idiot." I feel like the AI is going to go that way. The people that are interested in it the most are going to lose interest with it the fastest.
Yeah,
they're just going to be like, this is fucking boring now. I'm going to go do something else, and that's where I feel like it's going to go away the most. And then once people, obviously the people with money right now are already talking about, how we're not making our return on investment and all this bullshit like that. So I think eventually, not only are people going to lose interest with it, but companies are going to lose interest with it because they're not making any money off of it. So
okay,
I don't know.
That's a good take, Matt. What do you think?
Similar. I mean, we're obviously talking about it from a creative, artistic point of view. I think because I think there are good applications of it in other areas, but artistically, similar to Kenny. I mean, personally, in terms of what I do, it's not going to impact me in terms of the way I work. But in terms of for the industry, I mean, I'm obviously not a fan of it. I can understand why people have pressed in that direction. I've got a real issue with the way it's being done. I think like everyone does in terms of the lack of concern and care, recompense for anyone whose actually work is being taken and used to develop this stuff. And I feel massively for those that are in the industry that are being impacted by it. I do hope, kind of like Kenny said, that I hope it does slowly disappear. I think it's interesting to see the engagement because it pops up on my timeline so much now in terms of stuff that it's just all over the place, and it does feel like it's getting more of it. But I think because it's getting oversaturated, it's having less impact in terms of you don't see people engaging with it as heavily. But yeah, I just don't. For me, as long as, and this is the tricky bit. I mean, Marvel shot themselves in the foot doing what they did. I know McFarlane shot himself in the foot as well, doing what he did.
Yeah.
But I think if the industry as a whole can stay away from it, I think that's what will be the important thing. If they start to embrace it, that's where I think it's going to be a real issue. So let's see. But yeah, personally, same as Kenny, this is a hobby for me. It's something I enjoy doing, so it doesn't impact me financially or from a work point of view. But yeah, for the industry, it's not a great thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same space as these guys because I mean I don't do this for a living yet. That's the dream, but I mean I can see where it could be the devil, basically. I mean, honestly, even I was doing a lot of commission work, and that has went basically from it was on the rise to basically it dropped considerably here in just the last 6 months, just since AI has kind of went big because everybody can pretty much just get on a program and tell it what they want and it draws it for them. It doesn't need me anymore, and this thing, it's growing, it's learning. So yes, it can't do sequential work yet, but me and Keith have had these conversations. It's learning. So, and it's developing. So if it does learn how to do sequential work and the industry does see value, if it gets to the point where it can do sequential work, all comic book artists are pretty much screwed. I mean, because don't think that these companies won't use these programs to eliminate artists. They're going to cut costs any way they can. And I mean, so it's really scary. I mean, it really is. And I wish, we could, we had more companies like Dark Horse. Dark Horse has took a stand. They've kind of, planted a flag in the sand and said, no, we're not going to take AI. We want artists. We want original work. We don't want computer generated stuff. And I think more companies like Image, Marvel, DC, Disney. I mean, they really need to get on board with this because if they don't, and they keep investing in AI, it's a scary thing. You know, I mean, art as we know it. I mean, this is the way human beings have always expressed themselves, whether it be through drawing or through music. And if you take that away and people can't express themselves, I don't know, it's just scary all the way around. That's my thoughts on it.
Well, for me, I've already seen the impact of AI in the work that I do. Like, I'm a storyboard artist for live action, TV and commercials, and it's already dropped like a number of jobs because all the studios are using AI to they're using it for storyboard, they're using it for pitches, they're using it for what's called director pitch decks. I think it was Volvo that came out with a mock commercial of one of their what can be done. The car wasn't consistent, you know, as far as models, but yeah, the technology is continuing to evolve. They're working to try to make it better, but I mean, these tech companies are basically carpetbaggers on the Hollywood system. They're outsiders. They've come in to try to, you know, I think we've been sold out from the unions. I think unions have taken money from these tech companies, and because they're not coming out and rejecting like Dark Horse did. It was just very simple rejection of like, this is what we support. This is an art form. We protect, you know, this is our business model. This is the future of the industry. But we're not seeing studios do this. They're actively looking for ways to try to replace creators, illustrators, actors, directors, producers, and yeah, that's going to spill over into other mediums like comics and things like that. Now, like there was a few weeks ago, the ADG, Art Directors Guild, which covers a lot of illustrators, art directors, designers, all that, and it's been around for years. I mean, so long. But they represent like all these artists, and contract went through against, so basically they're not protecting artists, and those contracts that were passed through go into effect today, actually August 1st. So that basically has no protections on illustrators' jobs. We were fed to the wolves first. So I'm waiting to see like what happens with, you know, the whole situation with the inflow of work, and if, I mean, you know, some directors are like, yeah, like they come back and they want to hire real artists. They want to hire like work with real people, but the budget's not always there, and so what are they going to do? They're going to use AI. I'm never going to use it. I'm not going to support anything that's AI. I'm not interested in it. I don't like how it looks. I'm not a fan of it. And none of the artists that I know, like from inside the industry, outside the industry, union or non-union, there's not a single artist that is walking the path, the creative path, invested in their craft, that wants to use AI. There's not a single artist that I know that's excited about it. So that tells you something. And if the Hollywood system or these companies decide to embrace AI, I think what's going to happen to all of the artists, I think it's going to go adjacent, because we're not going away. And then Hollywood's going to come back and trying to hire all of these other creators because they're going to be still creating stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so AI is doomed. It's anti-life. People are excited about it because it's a new toy, right? And I think we're going to see the same thing, like Kenny said, like it's going to go the way of NFTs. It'll be around, but I don't think there's a lot of as much money to be made as they think it is, you know. And I think that's why we see like the negotiations going on for so long within the unions and because they think they have an upper hand. They think they have a way to replace creatives, and I don't think there was an article that just came out, I posted about it, where they're saying investors are concerned about, if there's money to be made from AI. And I think that's just going to keep going that way. They're going to try things. They're going to, and, if they chase out like big Hollywood directors and they don't have a place to go, the little people, like independent people, they're going to go and continue to create things that we make, and we're going to keep doing it. And Hollywood's going to be left off to the sidelines, and then they're going to be left with their AI, and they're going to be coming back to buy what the independent market is making.
Yeah.
So there's no way that AI comes out on top in any way. It just isn't. It's people will still try to use it, and you'll see like these sad people that want to be creative using it, but they're not, they don't have the time or the commitment to like commit to a craft, to like the years it takes to be an artist, to be to generate the skills that it takes.
Looking for a shortcut. Yeah.
They'll keep ripping people off, with their AI models. But I don't see AI replacing industry. I see maybe an adjacent, but I don't see like it'll run its course.
Sony and Warner Brothers and a couple other companies were like suing these guys too for like copyright infringement and all this shit. And like once that goes through, a lot of these guys are going to be done because what they've done is stole all this stuff for their things, and it's only one case away from just completely shutting these guys down.
Right.
The other thing is too, somebody posted something the other day about how it's starting to inbreed. So it's like scraping all the shit that it already shit out, and it's like learning from the stuff that's all fucked up and making worse shit. So, it's inbreeding itself. So it's a kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah,
I think Keith kind of hit the nail on the head with the post he did here recently, in the last couple months, that we're witnessing one of the greatest art heists in history. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean,
it is.
We all have our work online. It doesn't matter if we took it down at some point. It's already been stolen. It's all archived in servers, and AI has had free reign to every bit of it. Every artist that has ever existed. If your art has been posted online, guess what? Your shit got stolen.
Yeah,
that's just all there is to it. And
I took my Instagram account down before the deadline, but I'm certain they probably already scraped everybody's accounts before they.
Yeah, Google was scraping before that, so it's already been. Yeah, they've already had free reign on all their shit. That's why I never took anything down, because I mean, what's the point? They've already got what they want.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the issues too. There was like a AI task force with the ADG, the Art Directors Guild, and they went and learned and these are all people from all different crafts. I mean, like guys that worked on the X-Men show and everything like that. Like they just all like people in the business that know what the fuck they're talking about. They drafted proposals and they gave it to the union, to the ADG, like the members that were supposed to go into negotiations, and they were told to sit tight. They were told, okay, we got it from here. And like those people in the negotiations didn't seem to understand, like either like were incompetent, paid off, I don't know what, but I was in a call like and listening to them explain when they came out of negotiations, and they had no, like they were stumbling over their words. They were like, I don't know, like they were not prepared. They were not prepared to go to bat for like illustrators. Like this is like nothing starts without us, guys. Like nothing, like everything is starts with an artist, whether it's a building, a logo, like name it. Like everything starts with an artist, you know, and they're like excited. They're like they want to see like where AI goes, and it's like, you're the union, you guys are here to like go to bat for us and defend your members, you know, and they didn't. And there's no excuse for it. There really is no excuse for it, whether you're unprepared or not knowing or you sold out. Like there's no excuse.
Yeah,
And they didn't have it. So the one more thing, the copyright issue is like, if an AI image goes through the pipeline, the creative pipeline, Kenny, right? You were saying like, then the movie uses it, and that image gets like, you know, like worked on based on an AI image, and that AI model generated from somebody's copyrighted image online, that movie can't be released.
That's a huge liability
if there's a lawsuit. So there's tons of loopholes for like copyright, and they're going to be eating their own shit. Like, but there's no protections from the artists that work on like the AI generated image that's copyrighted or photo that's copyrighted.
Courts before anything really starts to dissolve. It's gonna have to, because, and like luckily like Sony and like Warner Brothers, like I mean obviously they're only like looking out for their own investments, but I mean that's going to trickle down into this area, because once they dismantle that whole thing, it's just not going to be worth anything.
Right. Exactly.
To jump on that, what you were talking about with your unions kind of abandoned you. You posted that.
Yeah.
Didn't only like 2%, or was it was less than 10% of your union voted against AI? Isn't that correct?
Well, it was a lot of different crafts. It is like IATSE. So it was a bunch of like different things. It wasn't just illustrators. It wasn't just the Art Directors Guild. It was like other unions too. And instead of the unions like kind of coming out and educating people on what this is, they didn't do that. So that there was an informed vote. There wasn't. So that's why people are like, you know, were you guys bought? Were you like, did you take money from tech companies? I mean, why are film festivals inviting these tech guys, these tech companies like open source AI, like founded by Elon Musk, you know, like, and there's other ones too that were invited to film festivals. Why? What are you doing? That's like the fox in the hen house. Like, why are you inviting these people in to an industry that you're supposed to be preserving and protecting, and like that you're supposed to be supporting? This is the future of your industry, and you're inviting AI companies, tech companies to come in and talk about how you could replace actors and artists of all crafts. You know how much like goes into making a film? Like it's thousands of people.
Wow.
So that's why I think like tech companies gave their money to Hollywood, and they're you know,
makes sense. Yeah.
You know, what
on
else?
A softer note, one more thing.
Yeah.
Totally change the subject. Your mom does agree you are a grown man, but she will take you over her knee. I'm just playing Miss Moran. She agreed with everything we were saying, but anyway, I had to do that. Sorry, Keith, man. Oh. She think you behind a woodshed, buddy.
Unbelievable.
Oh man. Well, dude, I think we've we hit a lot of topics. We've been
Yeah.
we've been streaming for an hour and a half. I think this has been an incredible first show. Anything anybody else want to drop? Before we wrap this thing up,
We didn't talk about Wolverine and Deadpool.
we can catch that next time.
All
Let
right.
me watch it first, then we can do it.
Yeah, let
I probably won't watch it. I probably won't watch it. Just a heads up. I'll talk about it.
It's good. It's
I'll
good.
come up with something.
Just make some stuff up.
Yeah.
I'll just make a bunch of shit. Just
Yeah,
say,
be talking about something totally unrelated. You'll be like, was that? Did he get all some deleted scenes?
right.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
play it out like, oh yeah, that was
We gotta
deleted
get,
scenes. Yeah.
We got to get an angry New Yorker in here to like round out the
Yeah.
accents.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, if everybody would have been in here, let's see, we'd have had,
Even an Irish as well.
we'd
Yeah.
have had Eamon bringing his Irish accent in. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd have been well rounded. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. We need to find an angry New Yorker. I know a couple.
Pissed off New
I know
Yorker,
a couple.
cab driver or something.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, Kenny, you've got a Kickstarter coming up this month, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm launching the next Apex book on the 14th. So yeah, I don't know what time, but probably in the morning sometime here. And that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know what else to say about it.
I tell you what, I'm gonna get your link, and when I get off here, I'll post it in chat. So you guys watching now and watching later, be sure and jump on the link and sign up. Yes, it hasn't started yet, but Kickstarter is just like anything else, you guys. It's got an algorithm. The more followers that he has, he goes higher. His needle goes higher in the stack of needles, and it gets it closer to the top of the pile and gets more eyes on it. That's the best way I know to describe it. So be sure and jump on it. Give him a follow. Hey, share it. Tell everybody about it. And your mom has one more comment, Keith. She said, thank you guys for the good show. You're most welcome, Miss Mirage. And
See you later, Mom.
I totally apologize about bringing up you whooping Keith, but if he needs it, you do what you got to do.
I'm the best. The best boy.
Oh, man. But anyway, great first show, you guys. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was such a pleasure. Keith will be hosting next month.
Sure.
Just like we did this time, we'll get a date that works for everybody. And
Yeah.
yeah, is this a good time for you, Matt?
Yeah, no, it's good for me. Works for me.
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Kenny,
Cool.
I know you might have.
I'll let you know soon because I'm going to have my new schedule for my
That's
part-time
right.
pretty soon.
We'll work it out where everybody can be on. Though I don't think it's that tough. We can figure it out where everybody can be on. But
Yeah.
yeah,
help me
great
start my
first show, you
channel.
guys. This was awesome. What was that, Keith?
Help me start my channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Keith is well, no, you've already started your channel, but subscribe to Keith's channel. He just got back into it, and subscribe. Jump on that thing. Help him get his numbers up.
What is the channel?
Keith?
Go on.
Oh shit. Did you get off to find your channel, or damn it?
Here, I got it right here. I found him. He wasn't hard to find. Here, I'll
What happened?
Oh, is there?
I'll put it in the chat here. There he is right there. I'm going to subscribe to him right now. Boom.
I'll do this.
I got a channel too, but I don't use it for anything. One of these days I'll maybe do something. I don't know. I just always figure like I don't want to teach people shit because like when people ask me like how do you do that, I'm like I don't fucking know. Like
Yeah.
Some nice
Well,
short
guys-
tutorials.
Guys, awesome show.
Cheers. Jerry.
Awesome to catch up with you guys. Best of luck with your projects. I'll get that link in the description, Kenny. You got to jump on the link. You can hit it, go straight to the campaign, and follow it. Matt, best of luck with the project, man. I'll keep posting stuff as you keep putting it up.
Appreciate
It's looking incredible. Hold on, before we jump off, I think we got. Let's see. Somehow it kicked him out. I don't know what happened, dude. But anyway, Keith, any words?
About this thing. We just
be well.
Hey,
Live long and prosper.
I
Be
can't even
well.
do it.
Oh, I love it. Hey,
Perfect.
if you
All right,
hadn't
guys.
subscribed
So
to the
cool.
channel, you guys, tell somebody. I'm trying to grow this thing out too. Appreciate everybody that's held on and for watching everything. We keep trying to bring you the best content. And thank you guys for being on today. And we'll continue this. This is going to be a monthly thing where we all get together and just kind of shoot the shit. Talk about what
what's
we're up
going
to.
on.
Yeah, talk about what's going on and comics, pop culture, to do with comics, creating all that good stuff. But anyway, guys, have a blessed one. That's a show.
Cheers, Jerry. Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
See you soon.